This is a podcast about our lived experience, which unfortunately includes infant death and subsequent mental health struggles. Please take good care of yourself and only listen if this content feels safe for you right now. We'll still be here when you're ready.
Hi, I'm Judith.
And I'm Alina. We are internet friends turned real-life friends who both experienced the tragic loss of our sons to sudden infant death syndrome in winter of 2021.
In the year after Aiden died, my husband and I both became unemployed. My parents divorced, and we had to move 5 times for various reasons.
And as for me, just a few weeks before my son Quinn died, my then husband had come out to me as a transgender woman, and we're subsequently divorcing.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
But as long as we're living, we will love our sons deeply and work to make sure that we live a life that makes them proud.
Welcome to As Long As I'm Living podcast.
We're so glad you're here.
Hello everyone, it's Judith here. I am hiding in the bathroom. I'm not going to the bathroom, just hiding in the bathroom because there's a lot going on outside and I'm cooking and there's just noise and I'm hoping that the bathroom is just a little quieter. The reason that I'm coming to you before the episode starts is because I just want to share a reflection I've had since recording. As you'll hear in this episode, I actually had a really hard time with this one. I was pretty quiet. And at the end, I was really sad. And I spent the past 2 days trying to figure out why this conversation just really bothered me. It's on such a neutral topic, the topic of self-care. But I am in a stage of my life right now that looks a little different than maybe Alina's or myself last year. And I don't have time for self-care. Not in a way that I'm like beating myself up, not like I need to go and, put myself first, just in a way that I'm trying to survive. I'm just in the thick of things and I don't have time for self-care. And hearing other people talk about how they're able to take deep breaths or, I don't know, lie on the floor for hours, it just made me feel bad about the job that I'm doing and also sad that I don't have the space and time to grieve like I once did. But I suspect that many of you guys can relate to this feeling. I have an alive baby that moves and I need to tend to. I have a spouse that needs tending to. I have relationships with my parents and my community and my family, and I'm trying to make friends where I live now. And they all just demand my time in a way that leaves me with little at the end of the day. And if self-care is just too much for you, I don't have a solution. I'm just saying, I hear you, I feel you. Listen to this episode. Be sad with me if you want. And then, maybe in a couple months things will look different. Okay, I have no advice. Literally no advice. I'm hiding in a bathroom right now. I had to move a bunch of my appointments today because I'm prioritizing my own social life.
Yes, and your own self-care. For you, an extrovert, social life is self-care.
Yes, for me, an extrovert. I just really have to eat. Hold on.
That's also self-care.
Oh my God, I'm starving. For me, an extrovert, let me tell you my dream day. My dream day, well, this is not my dream day, but for me, an extrovert, it would be so nice to go out to brunch with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's like here's a great start to my day. If I exercise,
yeah, and
then I go out for brunch with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Feels so good.
Yeah.
I don't want people to hear me chewing. You talk.
Okay. Speaking of self-care, that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about self-care. And in our very first episode, we were describing what we wanted to have this podcast be. And I remember saying something like, we want to give you an inside look and what it's like to be at the bottom, what it feels like to be feeling like shit. And I remember saying something like, I want to show what self-care actually looks like when you're not well. And I think we talk about this a lot. We talk about, this is what I need today. This is what I need. But I think someone listening to this, they hear self-care and they may think that we're going to talk about getting a massage or going for a manicure or all that stuff. And that's sure fine, we'll touch on those, but that's not what we're actually going to talk about today. We're going to talk about like, you're literally in a hole. How do you get through the next couple of hours? That's what I want to talk about. I don't know about you, Judith.
I read an article about this literally last week. Hold on. I read it. It was in the New York Times, and Nora McInerney.
Love Nora McInerney. Shout out to Nora McInerney. I'm going to see Nora McInerney on October 17th in Boston.
I'm very jealous.
So
and it
excited.
might have actually been in Time magazine.
Oh, okay.
How to find small moments of joy in dark times. Wait, no. That is something she wrote, by the way. But that is not.
You know what, Judith? You find it after this and we'll put it in the description.
Oh, okay. That's a great idea. But this is exactly, but the reason why I'm saying this is because in this article, it was saying, how do you find, it's like, it was basically about like self-care. And it was about like finding like some comfort in dark times, which is exactly what I think self-care is all about. It's all about comforts.
Yes.
Because when the world is spinning, when things feel so difficult, you have to find a way to feel comfortable in your own skin again.
Yes.
And I think that's obviously individualized. But one of the things that it was saying in this article was there are some things that universally are widely recognized as comforting to humans. One is being outside.
Yes.
Let's talk about why we think that is.
Okay. First of all, I agree. I 100% agree.
Yeah, I agree also. One of them was being outside. And then one of them, the one that Nora McInerney said, was finding connection. And she spoke about even if it's just a phone call or a text message, connecting to another human is incredibly comforting. I think the challenge is when you're so far deep in the hole, like the last thing you want to do is talk to someone sometimes.
And I'll say for me too, when I'm really unwell, I actually have a hard time being outside. I live in a city and it's hard for me to be outside in a city because it's very overstimulating. Whereas if I lived in a rural area, or like when I'm up in Maine, at my boyfriend's cabin, when I've been there this summer, like being outside is so healing when there's nobody else around.
Yes.
But I do find it hard. And so I retreat into myself, like into my apartment. Like this past week has been really, really bad for me. And I don't think until yesterday, I had not gone outside in like 5 days. And like, that's obviously not good for me and my mental health, but I also had to do that because I would have been way too overstimulated.
But there's something about being in a depressive state that you're physically unable to do some of these things. So it's kind of like you have to force yourself to do something because you wouldn't normally be able to. That's like the challenge.
I am 21 months out from the loss, and I have a Post-it by my coffee machine that says,
what does it say?
Go outside, smiley face.
Yeah. And how often do you do that?
I would like to say I do it every day, but I don't. I try to take my coffee outside when I'm like, if I know I'm not going to go outside for the rest of the day because I work from home, I do try to drink my coffee outside in the mornings. And that does make me, that feels good.
One of the reasons why we live in a suburban area is because it was too intense for me with all the people and the buildings and the noise. And I love energy. I love the energy from cities typically, but I actually find it really overwhelming now after the loss. And so like the fact that where I live backs up to a busy street is too much for me. Like I get very overstimulated just by that noise, just the street. And I like that I live in a place where it's like you look out and you see lots of trees, because I find it when it's too hard to go outside myself, it's easier to get there. Like there are fewer roadblocks to being back in nature.
So why do we feel like that feels good? Like, let's talk about that.
I have a theory.
Go for it. I'm ready.
My theory is that there are certain things that are so fundamental. It like brings us back to our primal self. This is my theory.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things they said was going outside. One of the things they said was connection. Another thing they said in this article was doing an act of kindness for someone else is actually comforting. Not that you can always do that in your darkest moments. I'm not saying that, but there is something about just like being in man's most original form. That I think our bodies resonate with.
Yes, I
And I think
completely agree.
the idea of living in like a tent or whatever, cave or whatever you're living in, and like working in a communal space, primal living, I think is very comforting. And I
Yeah.
think, and also I think, well, the giving to another person is also because when you give, you like, I think your brain releases like serotonin or something.
Yeah. One of those feel good
One of
hormones.
those tricky things. But I think in general, like there's something about getting back to our primal state. Like that's why I think being with animals is so comforting also.
Yes, that's on my
Because
list. Hug a pet, visit a
hug a
friend's
pet.
pet. Like,
because it reminds us that we're all, animals in the end. Also.
yeah.
And
And
our
actually-
needs are actually that simple. We need to be eating, sleeping, breathing air, and I think for man, living in community.
Yes. And I think so speaking to like going outside and why it's so comforting, I have another theory also. First of all, I think yours is 100% correct. And then I think I have another theory, which is that sometimes my pain is so big that it feels like I can't hold it. My apartment can't hold it. It's too much. But being outside, it's like the sky can help me hold it. The forest can help me hold it. Like it feels like there's room to feel my feelings when I'm outside.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And honestly, that's the same thing with connection too. Like sending a text to a friend, like that makes me feel like even if just 0.01% of it is being carried by somebody else, like sometimes you need someone to pick up 0.01%. Like you cannot hold it anymore. And you need to spread out a couple of 0.01% to a couple of other people,
I have a friend, she was a teacher of mine when I spent a year abroad, and she, a couple years after I spent my year abroad, lost her son in a drowning accident at the beach. Oof. And after I lost Aiden, we reconnected, and she told me, she said, what is something that you do that feels slightly like an indulgence in a way that feels good? She said, for me, it's going out and getting coffee from a coffee shop, not making coffee at home, like the luxury of buying a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
For her was really special. For me, there are a few things I could think of, but one thing I really like is matching pajamas. I don't know why. I don't know why it is. It was like someone could like rationalize that, but there's something about saying to yourself, you're more important than money. That like how you feel, the fact that this feels good, you are worthy of indulgence.
Not even money. It's almost like, well, money is certainly part of it too, but like even things that are free, like choosing to spend your time in a way that feels indulgent is also self-care. And I've never heard, I don't think we've talked about that specifically, but I love that metric for self-care. What would feel indulgent to me right now? I love that.
There is a line, and I've seen this line be crossed, where it's like, what feels indulgent and what is a coping mechanism?
An unhealthy coping.
An unhealthy coping mechanism.
Yeah.
For example, eating a box of chocolates is indulgent. And sometimes it feels good. Remember when we got like 5 cinnamon buns and we ate them all?
I stand by that. That was self-care.
I stand by that was self-care. I think at some point when that becomes how you survive, like just through waiting to eat the next cinnamon bun, then you're at a point where it's no longer a healthy space.
Yes. And let's just acknowledge alcohol and drugs can be in this category too.
Yeah.
Like to me, doing a gummy and checking out of my life, I've done some excellent grieving and processing and self-care.
Yeah.
High. Okay.
Yeah.
I live in a state where this is legal. Don't come at me. Or having a glass of wine and letting yourself like truly check out for an hour. Like that can be self-care.
Yeah.
It also can be extremely unhealthy and not self-care. And so I think that indulgence metric has to also be countered with, I wrote down as a good metric, like sitting for a second, closing your eyes and thinking, what do I need? What does my body need? Not what do I want? What does my body want? What do I need? Because that's different. Not what should I need? You
I
know?
don't know. I think that would be confusing for me because I don't need matching pajamas, but I want matching pajamas in a way that feels good
Yeah,
to give
sure.
myself. What I would say is, am I living, like, am I living to eat or eating to live? Am I like, is the only thing I can look forward to the next time I have a cup of coffee? Or
Yeah.
is that just one thing that feels really good?
But maybe sometimes you're sitting with yourself and you're saying, I need an indulgence right now. I need a treat. I need something that's going to give me a spark of joy. I need that right now. Sometimes what you need is a shower. You know what I mean?
So, okay, I hear you. So sometimes I feel like self-care is turning off my phone, not talking to anyone.
Mhm.
And sometimes I feel self-care is making plans with someone and like rearranging my entire schedule just to see them.
Yes.
So I think your idea of like, what do I need right now is really good because you could ask yourself, like, what do I need? Do I need connection? Do I need to be outside? Do I need something like immediate gratification, like something to eat? Do
Yes.
I need to check out mentally? Do I need, this just came up this morning because literally this morning I have less work than I was anticipating. And I have childcare. And so I have like the day to myself a little bit, not the day.
Yeah.
I have like 4 meetings, but I have a chunk of time to myself.
Yeah.
And I had to ask myself, okay, I really want to do some self-care today, but what would self-care look like
Yes.
for me today? And I really had to think about it because I didn't want to get it wrong because it's so precious. But like I was saying, first I was saying to you, I want to be outside. Like I had to sort through all the feelings. My logic was like, first I want to be outside. And then it was like, I really want to like laugh with a lost mom friend today. Like that's what I really want. I've seen friends recently, but not a lost mom friend in the way that like I know my soul needs it. So I'm rearranging my whole plan so I could see one. I think sometimes what's so hard for me is when I get it wrong. And then you don't feel like you just spent money or energy or time or precious resources. And it was a waste because it wasn't what you needed. And it's like, there's no shittier feeling than feeling like, for me, feeling like I wasted that opportunity.
Yes, I agree with you. When I did the wrong thing. I think the more I am able to tune in to what I actually need, the less regret I feel. But sometimes you don't even have the energy to do that. And you're literally just getting through minute to minute. And I want to talk about like on those like really bad days when you're on the floor days. Okay. These are the bare minimum things that you can do for self-care on those days. 1, drink water. Okay. If you're listening to this and you have not had water in the last couple of hours, go drink water. Okay. That's really good and will make you feel a teeny tiny bit better. Okay. Drink water. Number 2, move your body in some way. Stretch. Even just sit there, touch your shoulders and squeeze them. Like I don't know if you have a place in your body that feels nice to be touched. For me, touching my chest provides some comfort. So I'll sit there and I'll like press on my own chest. Like I'm literally talking on days when I'm on the fucking floor. Like these are like bad days. These are my bad day coping strategies.
So the therapist, they're a client of mine and she lost her grandmother recently. And I can tell you without a doubt, there is a difference between losing a grandmother and a child. Because I said to her, I was like, you look like you really could use some time lying on the floor. And she thought I was insane. She was like, you know what I want to do? I want to unpack some boxes. I was like, what? You have not lost a child. That's how I know there's a difference.
Okay. Here are some other of my like really teeny tiny small things. Maybe you can try brushing your teeth. That might make you feel clean. If you have a little teeny tiny bit more energy, you can take a shower and you don't even have to wash your hair. This is my thing. I'm always like, I don't want to wash my hair and then I'm going to have wet hair. But sometimes I shower and I don't wash my hair and that actually feels like a luxury.
Ooh, Alina.
Ooh, I'm crazy.
You are crazy.
And yeah, we already talked about this, but like hugging a pet for sure. Or like go to a friend's house that has a pet, like find a puppy. Like that feels so good on a bad day. I also have on here on my little list, I have taking vitamins. This was something that was like really key for me in the early days of the loss because I was having a really hard time.
I've never taken a vitamin.
I was having a really hard time eating and my doctor was like, don't worry about it. Take vitamins. Not don't worry about it. Like it was a problem, but she was like, this is like something you can do that's easier than trying to force yourself to eat. And then actually it's good for your body and nourishing for your body. I have a whole little packet of old lady vitamins right here.
Okay, I don't take vitamins, and the idea of taking vitamins is overwhelming.
Then that's not a good one for you.
I'll tell you why. It's like one more thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. To me, it always feels like an easy thing to do that feels good. But if it doesn't feel good to you, don't fucking take vitamins. Don't do it.
I have been doing my face routine, washing my face with all my special
Your
things.
Potions. I call them
all my
potions.
lotions and potions. Yeah, I have like a whole routine, the morning and night, what to do. And I really find a lot of like, it's so short, but it feels good to touch my face. It feels good.
That's good.
Oh.
I want to go back to moving your body for a second, because I think people can feel a lot of judgment about, oh, I should be exercising. Right.
Oh, I didn't exercise for a really long time. I didn't exercise for a really long time.
I didn't either.
Months. Probably more like a year, well, in the beginning, I actually paid a trainer to make me move my body because I wasn't doing it. And I know that endorphins are released when you exercise. Endorphins make you happy. And I also have a dog, so I walk the dog.
Yeah.
So I have no choice but to go outside.
Yeah. I mean, I used to, when Quinn first died, I used to literally go on a walk around our teeny tiny little block. I would be out of my house for probably 4 minutes. 4 minutes. But just being outside and moving my body in that way, I can't say it felt good because I was in the hole, but I do think it helped. And I want to, if you're like if you just lost a baby, like to a stillbirth or something like that, and you're like postpartum too, I know that can be like really hard and triggering to find safe exercise, but there's this person that we follow on Instagram. Her name's Loved Mama Fitness, and she has a really good loss for safe, like non-triggering exercise program for postpartum women. And I'm just going to link it in the description because I have it. I paid for it myself. This is not sponsored. I really like it. It's really good. Shout out to Love Mama Fitness. I don't know her actual name. That always happens. I like know all these people by their
Instagram handles.
I think maybe her name is Bree. That's like ringing a bell for some reason, but if that's not your name, sorry, whatever your name is.
I mean, we'll tag her. I don't think she listens. Bree, if you're listening, we're so happy that we follow you. Bree, if you're listening, what's your real name? That's the real question.
Okay. All right. What else do you have? I have quite a lot of stuff on my list.
I don't know. You wrote a whole list. I just showed up.
Well, because we were going to talk about this a long time ago. My list is from a couple weeks ago. We were going to do this episode. Okay. Here are my hot takes on self-care. Okay. 1, honesty about your journey and how you're doing. I think that is an act of self-care. And then related and the opposite, privacy about your journey and how you're doing. I think depending on how you're feeling that day, either of those can be self-care. So this goes back to like asking yourself what you actually need. Okay. Asking for help is self-care. Okay. Self-care, sometimes you literally cannot take care of yourself, and asking someone else to take care of you is self-care. And that's hard. I'm saying this like I'm preaching to myself. I'm bad about this. Okay. That is self-care, asking for help. And on the flip side, rejecting help that is not helpful. If someone is trying to help you and it does not feel helpful, you can say no. Right?
Reminds me of the story about my mom. My mom went to the hair salon while she was in town. My mom has really curly hair. She only has curly hair. I've never seen her with anything but curly hair. And she came back and the lady had like blow dried it and it was stick straight, and she looked like it was like the ugliest helmet I've ever seen. And my mom was like, the lady was blow drying my hair and I hated it, but I couldn't say stop because I said stop. And she was like, this is what everyone wants. And she's like, I just never stood up and said, but I don't want it. I just like let her do it. And then now I have to walk around with this stupid helmet. It made me laugh. Like, I feel like sometimes people like the hair lady probably thought she was being so generous, giving her this nice little blow dry. But not everyone wants their hair blow dried. even though
Yeah.
90% of people do, not 100%.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes. It doesn't matter if somebody's offering something to you that's like really kind and wonderful. If you don't want it, you don't have to take
You don't
it.
want it.
You don't want it, and that's okay.
I 100% agree.
Again, I'm preaching to myself here because I'm bad about this, but yes, I think that is so key. Okay. Next, these are kind of discombobulated. Not putting on a brave face when you are a mess. I am so guilty of this. I think just recently, this past week, I've had a really bad week and I've been pretty open about it. We talked about in the Wonder Woman episode, like not liking comments like you're so strong, you're so brave, like blah, blah, blah. And I've been getting a lot of those recently since my heart diagnosis. And it hasn't been feeling good. And my therapist said to me, like, she like gave me a script for what to say when someone says that, which is, I'm suffering every day. Every single day is a struggle. So if someone says like, you're doing such a great job, you're so strong, you don't have to say, thank you. Yes, I am. You can say like, every day is a struggle. Like, this is really hard. And to me, that felt really important. And I love having a script for that because I don't like hearing you're so brave, you're so strong. It feels like, I'm not, help me.
I know. You're really not doing well at all.
Yeah. I feel like myself like today for the first time in like a whole week.
You seem more like yourself, but you've also been really like out of it. Like when I talk to you, like sometimes you're like,
yeah. I feel like I woke up yesterday and I was like, whew, okay, I'm back. But like I had been really dissociated, honestly.
Yeah.
Honest, like I don't remember a lot of the last week. It's been a bad one.
You didn't miss much. The universe didn't happen. Not so much happened.
I missed Quinn's entire birthday party. I don't remember it.
That's fine. I think that's for the best.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, next. I wrote waiting, pausing, being okay with resting. Do not berate yourself for not having the energy to do things. Take a freaking nap. That's a big run-on sentence, but I stand by that.
What does that mean? Resting, not napping?
I think there's a difference between resting and napping. Okay. Waiting, pausing, and being okay with rest. Rest can mean like, to me, it means like logging off of work half an hour early.
I'll have to say I'm very bad at rest and I've had to learn how to do it because I feel very uncomfortable with the idea that I'm just going to like sit in front of the TV all day. Like that's something that it's not comfortable. And I think there was like a lot of shame in my family.
Yes. Like not being productive,
both from both of my parents. The idea that you would just like sit and be lazy for a day was.
I haven't met your dad, but I've met your mom, and she is a force to be reckoned with. She is go, 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 go,
She's go.
Yeah.
And my dad is work. And I think I do have a good work ethic, and I think I do get a lot of things done. But I think that for a very long time, doing nothing was doing something.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. Like my mom said it. She said like you're much more zen. I think that's what she means when she says like you're much more comfortable doing nothing. I think that's what she means by you're much more zen. Because I think that's the biggest shift. I remember when I went to a lost mom retreat, they said like, what is the greatest gift that your child has, given for you? Or what's something that your child has done for you or something like that since they're lost. And I said, well, I haven't really like accomplished much since my child died. It's not like I have like new meaning or new purpose in life. I don't like have appreciation for I don't do any of that. But the one thing that I do feel like Aiden gave me was the ability to just sit and be and do nothing and just like lie on the floor or lie in bed and just sit or just sit outside and look at trees. I mean, the idea that I would do that before is so bizarre, but now it's just like my brain, it has so much going on that I need to do nothing. Like my brain needs a rest.
Yeah.
So I've learned, it's like a learned practice to just sit, not accomplish anything, and just be human.
Yep. And I said take a freaking nap, but like I'm not a napper. I do not nap well, but sometimes I just get in bed and I lie there.
Yeah.
Like that's good too. That's also self-care.
Yeah.
The next thing I have on my list, I have a couple more things, not too many. The next thing on my list is if you've had a really bad couple of days and you start to feel better, you do not have to jump right back into your regular life and like tackle everything that you weren't able to do in the past 3 days. Like maybe take your first little bit of energy and use it on something for you instead of all the tasks that were left behind. There's time. You'll get to the other things. Okay.
Or you won't.
Or you won't. Yeah. I mean, honestly, or you won't.
Or you won't. And that's okay too.
That's okay too.
Get done.
Agreed.
Just the bare minimum.
Yep.
You just need to do the bare minimum. Like at work. Oh my God, Alina, this just happened. My work colleagues like take my work so seriously. And I can't get behind it. I'm like, I can't. This is so dumb. Why
You're
are
like, there are bigger fish to fry, or everybody's kids okay?
Let's just focus on the bare minimum. Let's just get the bare minimum done. And I would be proud of that.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Setting boundaries. I kind of already talked about that. Oh, this is a good one. Unfollowing or muting triggering social media accounts. And then on the flip side, searching for and finding accounts that are meaningful and feel good. If you don't like our content, please unfollow us. I give you that gift. Oh my gosh. Like,
and
you don't have to listen to this podcast if you don't like it.
I think we have to be honest. We unfollow people a lot.
We do.
If
and
you're
please don't take it personally, people.
Yeah,
please.
It is not personal. It is that we lost children. And it's really painful sometimes to see other people who's lost children, even though it makes no sense. It's not logical.
Yep.
It's not, we get it, but it's very painful sometimes for us to follow.
And there's no rhyme or reason. Like there are some people who have living children that I like following, and there are some people that have living children that I can't stand to follow. There are some people that post a lot of photos of their child who died, and that's okay. And some like I just can't handle. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like it is truly not personal.
There's
you just gotta take care of yourself.
I think we just have to say that like we follow some people and Alina is comfortable with it and I'm not comfortable with it, and then we'll just unfollow that person. Like
exactly.
There's two of us too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So which means that we basically follow 100 people. But that's but not because we're Beyonce, because we're stressed and we've lost children and it's very scary.
Yeah, and we're ruthless about it too. Like, and we'll refollow people too if we're like, oh, I think I missed their content. But like we're ruthless about it. If like it doesn't feel good that day, I'm like, gotta go. Bye. I just can't do it. Okay. And then, my last thing that I think this is the biggest thing for me, not to like make it sound too impressive, but self-compassion.
Yeah.
Is self-care. My self-talk in my own head, it is mean sometimes. My brain can be so mean.
Why? What does it say?
It says things like, Alina, just get it done.
Yeah.
Like, Alina, what the fuck are you doing? Alina, stop having a panic attack. Yeah. Alina, you're being dramatic. Alina, that's quite enough. Alina, just work. Just sit down at your desk and work. Alina, just do your job. Alina, you really should eat something healthier than this. Alina, like, it's so mean. And self-care, I think this is actually actively something I'm working on in therapy. Countering all of those thoughts with at the end saying, but it's okay that you're not doing that. Or I understand why I'm not able to work right now. Like, it's okay. It's okay. My natural state, my pre-loss natural state was very functional, very competent. And it's been a hard pill to swallow, but I am not particularly functional or competent anymore. I'm just not. Those are not traits that I would use to describe myself anymore. And that fucking sucks. And I judge myself for it.
Yeah. I spoke about this last night in therapy because my husband and I went therapy together last night. And we were saying about, I think we were talking about being disassociated. And I said something like, I'm just really compassionate with myself. Like, I just say to myself, like, okay, so right now you're not as connected to your kid as you want to be. Like, that's okay. Maybe next week or maybe next year or maybe in 5 years, it'll look different. Like, whatever, you can only do the best you can. And right now that's not very much.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, along with that, I think we've already talked about it, but like, there's time for all those other things. If you're feeling like, I really want to plan a memorial and I haven't done it yet, and you're berating yourself, like, there's time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, your kid's always going to be dead.
Right.
That's the truth of it. There's time. There's time. And things will get easier and lighter. I can say that even having had a really bad week, like it's not as bad as it was in the early days. And so just having compassion for yourself for where you're at. I say that my brain is so mean to me. I actually do think I have a lot of self-compassion. The problem is that my, for lack of a better word, mental illness, which is my grief, right, can be really, my brain says stuff that I actually don't believe. And I have to actively work to counteract those things. It's really hard. So if you struggle with that too, I feel you. So I guess my action item for you guys is to sit with yourself and ask, what do you need today? Truly, do you need an indulgence? Do you need to take a nap? Do you need to unfollow us on Instagram? Please feel free.
Be a little nicer to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Radical self-care.
Yeah.
Do it. Do you need to ask for help? Do you need to ask for some not self-care, for some just care from someone else?
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, how you feeling, Judith? You look a little bummed.
I am, but I don't really know why. This conversation bummed me out.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What do you need right now? You got to go outside. Go for a walk.
I think I do need to go outside, but I have to work because it doesn't matter. But I have to work. But I am kind of bummed. I don't know why. I don't know. I was in such a good mood before. I think this conversation really bummed me out. I don't know.
Oh, Judith.
I just wanted to say that I hope I'm not the only one. And if I'm not the only one, and there are other people out there that are wondering if they're self-caring correctly or grieving correctly, I'm with you. Okay, bye guys.
To all of our wonderful new friends, we want to hear from you. Email us at aslongasimlivingpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at aslongasimlivingpodcast. We'll get back to you as soon as our grieving brains allow.
Yay!